part of my shed here is supposed to be a carport thing. It never worked out as a carport thing. I'm one for not throwing stuff out. There's always a mess. I'm cutting up wood and all now, like, there's always a mess. But then my lockers came from my old work. When something gets thrown out, I always hold on to stuff because as a DIY things come in handy. There's iron bars there for trampoline. That metal there came from the old factory. So any bits and pieces. That's a neighbour moved house there and we chopped up for firewood. That's my inflatable boat inside that bag. Hasn't been out in 10-15 years. But you see, like, this wee part of shed there, I'm sort of organised. Tools is in there and bits and pieces in there. These here, they came from my old factory as well. Factory closed down. I gutted it out. But if you see in here, because some people think, you know, you always see these people doing things on YouTube and they always have everything at hand. But here's all these out crates. These all came from my old factory as well. There's 4 socket boards. People, when they dump stuff, they get rid of it. 2-core cable, 3-core cable, all the rest, flat pack screws. So I keep all the stuff, handles, hinges and screws, anything at all, like, there's bolts. So anything that gets dumped, anything. Them air bolts came from some kind of furniture. They're there for years, like, probably never get used, but they're there. So when I get a wee idea in my head, I'm able to come around, there's airlines and stuff, I'm able to come in here and just hook around and find wee bits and pieces. Because I'm not one for spending money, you see. There's wheels and all the rest, there's all sorts of things in this wee shed. I don't be in here very often, but if I need to do something, I come in here and hook. And there's the point I'm going to get at now in a wee minute. She's playing ball, ain't you, Lena? I've had a caravan for years, like, there's my old caravan. I put a wee dog flap and all on so Lena can use it, doesn't use it. And there's the caravan I use at the minute. So I've lots of bits and pieces lying around belonging to caravans. And of course, you know, they don't get through out either. Now the car, I was thinking, like, that's the charger for the car. And I thought, wouldn't it be handy if I could have an electric hookup in the car? So instead of lifting the battery out, I could strap the battery in proper. And instead of lifting the battery out, I could charge it up in here. I was looking there, the charger fit nicely in there, you know. That charger would fit nicely in there. Plenty of room for air and all the wee air vents at the side. And would it be so much handier if I could just plug the car in, like I would plug the caravan in, and it would charge the battery up. But also, if you plug the car in, I could use the ups function of this here. So if I was to go to an air site, I could plug in, say I want to make my dinner for an hour, I could plug in for an air site, and that will run the mains power to the car from my air fryer, plus charge the battery, and I'll get the laptop and everything charged up. So the next problem comes in, how to get electric into the car. And I was looking at eBay and stuff like that and Amazon, and it's unbelievable, a lot of people don't know how leads work. And people are wiring them up wrong. And how you install them is important. And when I was at Take, I went to Take when I was 16, 15, 16, I went to Take. Went to the plumber's class. Plumber's telling me this. And he says, that always gets a laugh. And I might as well tell it. Once you hear this once, you never forget it. There was the 2 sections of your connector. Whether it be plumbing, electrical, doesn't matter. One's a male, one's a female. I want to say, how do you know the male from the female? Well, males have got woolies. There's a wee woolly sticking out there. Females have got the wee private parts. You don't have that many different words for that. And the male pushes into the female. So that's your difference joints. Now, them males, I can touch them with my fingers. You do not want to get electrocuted. So power never comes out of a male end. Power comes out of the female end. You see the way the brass is set away down on? So you cannot get electrocuted with a female end. So anytime you're wiring these sockets up, it's not whatever's handiest. There's a right and a wrong. It has to be the female where the power comes out. So if the male's unplugged, there's no power in the lead. You should never be powering the lead when a male's unplugged. But that comes the next thing now. See, when you plug these together, they're waterproof. They're not waterproof. If you stick them in water, if you stick them in a pond, the water gets in. They're rain resistant. So they're designed so when you put one under the other, there's the female. Now, unlike some positions that people do, female has to be on top. You put the female on top, water rainwater cannot get in. If I was to put the male on top, water is going to get into that cable. Because my original idea was, if I could run one of these leads, I was looking for a socket under the car, wasn't getting a socket, because the female wants to be pointed down the waist. The female will be pointed down that way all the time, so the rainwater doesn't catch in it. You cannot have a female pointing up the waist. And for the fittings that I was looking to buy, because I'm putting it under the floor in the car, they'd be upside down. So where the female would come like that, because I was turning it upside down, the female would now, the flap been pointing the wrong way, and she would be pointing up towards the rain. Water would get in. So all the fittings you can buy are not designed for on the car floor. Then I thought, well, I'll just dangle it out of the boot. If I dangle it out of the boot to a certain height, because the boots don't shut tight anyway. And I tried that, and you know what? It worked. You can close the boot tight, it's not doing no harm, but the same problem exists. Whenever you plug in your power lead, the female's going to be pointing up, water's going to get in. So that's that idea scrapped. And then I thought then, right, there's your lead down. Like, see, I have a caravan socket in my garden. I'm all geared up for this. I plug it into my main socket. I come out to the car with this here female socket. I can't plug it into the car from outside to stop water getting in. But what I can do, I can put the socket in like so. Now what you do then, you get one of these wee adapters here. I've had this adapter, it's like brand new, lies in the caravan. Used once for 10 minutes. Shiver went flat one time. Used once for 10 minutes. That can stay in there. I'm going to disconnect this wee socket here. Or in fact, I'll keep that. I'll buy a new one of these sockets here. I'll buy a new one of them and make a new lead up. I'm going to put I'm going to put this electrical socket. Now, of course, I didn't buy this. This is lying in my shed. You see where I keep the stuff. The sister would have had this one time for PC, desktop PC. Nobody has desktop PCs now. Like, I'm going to put that on there, and I'm going to cut that flex and put. I'll use a socket today. I'll put one of them blue sockets on, and the blue socket will just sit there. And then if I go to an air site, I'll have my cable, plug it in there, close the boot. No water's going to get near it. It'll liven up the socket. I'll put the power through this, so it means I just use them as normal. I won't be taking power for the battery, but at the same time it'll charge the battery. I'll get these connectors taken off and get them wee O-rings put on, so we have a better connection. So much handy. So when I come home at night time and the rain's pushing down, it's always pushing down at night time, it's always dark. Instead of having to lug the battery into the house, and then the problem lugging the battery in the house, it stays there all week. Oh, you're tripping on it. And then once I went away and forgot it. When you got a lead like this, you come out to work in the morning, oh, there's the lead. You curse and swear and all the rest as you unplug it. But at least that's the job done. You go on to your work, then the lead and all's in back in your boot and everything's back to normal. So what I'm going to do today now, because I want to get this finished today now, like, I'm going to, that's a very tight fit in there. It's not actually touching that whole unit. So I'm going to look for my wee spongy pads like them there. I'm going to put wee spongy pads to stop things hitting this. I'll put the spongy pads here. That'll make it a nice tight fit. I'm going to put on a wee strap on there, and that'll hold that charger in there nicely. And they'll have to stay clipped on in the meantime. I have no way of putting wee rings on there. But we'll see what it's like clipped on. Might be alright. And I'll get the mains lead from here. We'll run up behind and we'll keep it plugged in permanently up to this new socket I'm putting in. Because this board has to be able to come out for MOT. Everything has to come apart. So I don't want to, it's not going to be taking lights up Christmas decorations. It's Christmas decorations off a tree. I don't want to spend 2 years taking it apart. Everything will come apart pretty soon, easy. When I take that apart, the socket all can stay on there. No need to take that off. A couple of wee tie clips, so all come out for the MOT. And get the other plugged in for this charger. It's a bit long, but I don't want to go cutting cables. So I'll keep it the length it is. Now maybe it's not too long, by the time it gets up there it'll be alright. I reckon it'll be alright, you know. And then when I do go to Hookup, not only will I have these sockets, but I also have spare sockets there. Because when you pay for an hour hookup, you want to get everything charged up, don't you? Shaver, razors, everything. Phones, laptops, you plug everything in. In that hour you get as much charge as you can, like. Or if we go to the friend's house, I must take my lead down to his house. He's got an external socket too. I'm not be too happy, like, you know, tight. So we'll see what happens here now. We'll give us a wee go. But whatever you do with these sockets here, female on top. Never have a female pointing up. I'm just going to glue that on with a glue gun. So the glue gun here now, but instead of whacking the whole way into the house, it's a stormy day out here, like stormy day. I'm going to plug it in now to my socket here. I must switch on the inverter. There now, it's heating up now. We'll give about 5 or 10 minutes to heat up and I'll glue that on. In the meantime, I'll start cutting the flex to size. I've decided just to put the orange flex straight into this 4 board here. It's very hard to get boards now you can wire up yourself. Most of them are all factory done, like, so you check if there's any wee screws in the back. Check the back of them, the screws instead of rivets. You can screw them apart. You can lengthen and shorten the flex. You can shorten the flex anymore, but you can lengthen them then. But don't hang on the hot glue. Now these guns don't always work right. They're a bit temperamental. You're better off with a couple of big blobs. It gives you more time to position it. If you put on wee bits and pieces back and forward, it cools down before you get it up. A couple of big blobs. I need to always burn myself sticking these things up. I'm going to keep it just a wee smidgy down from that back box. I reckon about there. Now what I'll do then, them cable ties I put on yesterday to hold these sockets, I'll replace them. And a cable tie to hold the socket will also hold this. You don't want a million cable ties. The same cable ties, the cable ties holding onto this board, I can hold this. So by changing a couple of cable ties, you don't end up with any more cable ties, but you end up with a neat job then. So I can plug that glue gun now. Now you can't put a blob of glue in that day, you know. There's not much weight to that onto the carpet. It can't fall like. Might put a blob of glue in that as well. Them wires on there, when I first seen this, I said, "How far is going to be very hard to get in there." This wee bracket here is hinged. She pushes down the ways, so it's actually quite handy. Like, I thought that's a bad place sticking earthware. Don't know if I can show it now hinged or not. So see where she's hinged. So that pushes down the ways. Put the cover on now, and then we'll test it out. I've got this socket tester. Brilliant job them there. Some people will use them in campsites as well. You always hear some reviews of European campsites being wired the wrong way around. That tells you if A, the wires is in, including the earth, you know where none of the earth's in unless you have one of these, and B, that they're in the right places. And depending on what way it lights up, it should be green, green, green. If it's not green, 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 the wires are back to front, or they're mixed up, or the wire isn't connecting. So when I get this put together now, we'll run the lead out and we'll check this socket, make sure everything's wired up alright. I've just finished now. I have the inverter turned on. This wee thing tells me everything's wired up okay. So neutral and earth, neutral and live is okay, but there's no earth. There's no earth going to that. I want to how's there no earth? The inverter doesn't do earth. It's not earth to the ground, how can it? So I wouldn't run anything metal, unless it's double earthed. I wouldn't run anything metal off an inverter. That's going by any inverter. Unless you want to drive a big earth pole into the ground. The whole idea of an earth wire goes into the ground itself. It's earth to your house. Well, that's not earth to nothing. So the power is going to that now. That inverter's on. The power is going to that socket. This socket's dead. There's no power going to it. There's no power going to the battery or charger or anything like that. So the power from this battery is going to that inverter. That's going to that socket. This is male connector. That's totally dead. There's no way power can go the other way. That's dead. This is my live lead now, be from a campsite or electrical hookup, whatever it is. That's the female connector. There's no way, that's live. There's no way I can get electrocuted because the pins are set away in. And that's the difference. You must have to use a female for the power coming to. To connect these two together, that wee catch is broken that actually. So I'll have to put the phone down here to get this done here. Oh. I might get something out, I don't know. Right, them two there is now connected together. As soon as I do that now, the power going to there now is no longer coming from the battery. It's coming from the mains. The mains is going into this, and hold on. I need to switch this on first. Now that that's turned on, now the mains, so the power, just working this out, the power comes in from outside, goes into this 4 socket board, goes out of that 13 amp socket to the inverter, and now the inverter power is now using to run that. Bit interesting to see now, so that's wired up okay there. Bit interesting to see now when the main power is going in, with the 3 lights go on. The 3 lights should go on now, but let's see what happens. There you go now. So the mains power is coming in. So it might be handy carrying one of these wee gadgets just to know what power you're using. So the mains power is coming in now, it's going through the inverter, it's earth to the house. And then you get a power cut, you pull that out, one light goes out. So we know, I know that's working as a UPS. Next thing now is the charger. Problem with the charger, I was trying to get in there, it wasn't going to stick to the carpet. I had to give up on that idea. So I put it on here, I was going to use cable ties, but then the cable ties up there don't bother me inside. Cable ties there would. And I thought, well, if I glue it up or stick it up and it falls down, it could cross the terminals of this battery. So I thought I'll screw this wee batten on, and that's number plate stickers to stick it in place. So I might get a wee bit of plywood now. See, that needs to cool off. You don't want to box it in. They're made of metal to give off the heat. So if I want to charge up that battery now, that should be the battery. And there's the battery charging up now. When that battery gets fully charged, that'll go off. So as it is now, I can now use the live power going through live. That's not coming from the battery. I can use the power from the mains. So if I say I went to an air site now and pay, I got £1, I got 1 token lasts an hour. I can, the power goes straight through, put on my air fryer, it'll charge up this battery, and a couple of extra sockets. You charge up all your tablets and laptops and everything else. I've got USB-C laptop, quick charge, and my all powers is a quick charge battery bank. So I can get a lot of energy in an hour. So if I stuck and I had to pay for energy for an hour, it would work out alright. So I'm going to leave that on there now. And there's plenty of room in that bit for that. As there's now, no water's going to get near that. There's plenty of room in that bit. I'm going to go now and get me Luna fed. So probably, I've used that for the glue gun. I used it for something yesterday. So if I get that battery fully charged now, I'll say about an hour, I'll charge it. That'll turn off. And I'll just come in and flick off that switch. I think that's a good job. That's a good job. The only thing missing there now is a battery-to-battery charger. That's when you put the power from the car engine alternator to charge up that. It's never going to pay me to put that in. The only thing about this charger here, and it's same as anything in a car can get very cold, it can get very hot, and you get humidity. That may not be designed to be used outside. The humidity may build up on that. But by the time I go to charge up the battery is after I come back on a weekend. I'll come home, switch it on, it'll be dry at that time. So it shouldn't be, if you're away camping all the time and the car freezes down and you're charging up, then you make a humidity forming inside. Humidity forming inside of that as well, but that'll be designed to take that into account. So, close this bit now, and bear in mind, them wee magnets don't even get bent. That's the job. That can charge up, so I think that's a good job.